package and was telling the package that I'm preparing a surprise for him. Because I will find out who that was. I will. And it's better if you tell me. Much better if you tell me. Because the package didn't tell me who it was. And I wasn't in town that day. You don't even know which day it was. Thank you, Rue. Yes, I can extend you a virtual watermelon here. This one's actually not that great. Hello, I'm on the East Coast too. This watermelon's a little, it's not as juicy as usual. It was good. It was a good walk. It's really hot outside. Hi, Jennifer. No, he said that they didn't say what it was. They DM'd him saying, hey, did you know that Yulia is preparing a surprise for you? Or, hey, did you know what Yulia is doing? She's preparing a surprise for you. And I was like, which one? Who's the traitor here? Who is the traitor? Because I will find the traitor. And when I find them, I know what's going to happen. I will find them. I don't understand why somebody has right there. Why would somebody reach out to them and tell them about it? I have to take it off and be like, oh yeah, it's because I showed him the tapestry, remember, and I was like, this is the big surprise. I think it might have been Peter. Because I asked myself if it's Peter. It was like, you know, I'm really bad with names. I know people through profile pictures, and I'm like, really? No, they didn't spoil the surprise. They almost spoiled the surprise. They DM'd him to tell him that there is a surprise. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Also, someone bought the trash can off the... No one spoiled anything. Heroim Slava. Someone bought the trash can off the wish list. And someone... I'm going to do like 10 minutes of catch-up today. And then straight away, we can have so many updates. But I did want to say that someone that we had like basically just a couple of like necessities left on the list. And someone got the trash can. And Juju got the bins, one of the bins. So I was gonna say that I'm gonna remove all of the things off the wish list that are just like, hi April. I'm gonna remove all the things of the wish list. Basically, the first, well, there is a, what's its face? There is a pillow that I just really like that I wanted to get. Maybe I will get it from there. There is a shoe rack, a little white shoe rack that I would use not as a shoe rack, but rather as like a storage piece, and 3 bins. And those are the 3 necessities that I think, like, the things that I think are necessities that are left in the list. So if anybody still has an ability or desire to get those, we would highly appreciate. And they are the wooden shurak, the white shurak thing, and 3 bits. Hi, Pamela. Yes, the leaf one. Oh my gosh, I really want to put that on the chair here. Because I think it's gonna be nice for like back support, you know, and it's just like so green and nice. Hi Pamela, how are you? Hi Pamela. Did you have some rest? Oh. But yes, basically, I put up the shelves. I'll show you the shelves. Wait. Wait. I think. How do I do this? 1 second. Here is how I do this. Okay. I decided to do it this way. But so the shelves are up. And for my purse, here. The Etsy shop for the leather bag, right? With the leather stamping. Flower lady. I will show you. Okay. So it's called Conceptual Leather Bag on Etsy, but I will show you what the store looks like. There are a lot of these bags, and they're from like $150 to maximum $200, and they're hand-stamped leather, and they're handmade bags. It's a family business in Ukraine. They're from Hutsul region, which is in the Carpathian Mountains. And these are amazing. A lot of us, actually, a lot of people who are here on this live, they have a lot of here. I will show you guys on YouTube the, oh wait, the shelves. I forgot to show YouTube people the shelves too. Wait, whoa, boom. The shelves are up. There we go. I hope that worked. But yes, so there's a lot of different bags on here. This is the one that this is one of the ones that I have, but in a different color. And let me see. Yeah, so this is the store. This is what it looks like. Conceptual leather bag. Modern, and I'm okay with that. All right, so yeah. Yeah, of course, you're welcome. Yeah, you love yours? That's awesome, Lynn. I'm so happy. Wait. My hair is like still wet after the shower. I'm gonna let it down a little bit. Well, actually, no, it's too hot. Jeez. The package is due to arrive on the 6th. Hi. Hi, Jen. Hi there. Oh my gosh, see how hot it is in my apartment? Like, I think you can see it better on YouTube, but my cheeks are like so red. So I'm one of those people, like, you know, there are like girls when they work out at the gym and they're like sweating and it's hot, they somehow still like look cute. I don't. I look like a beet. I literally look like a beetroot. Like a beet, as in like the vegetable. That's what I look like. I look like a beet. I'm just so red, and my face is like completely red. Why is it doing that? My face is like super red. I'm super red. I'm sweating. Yes, I do look like borscht, literally. Привет, scooter. Yep. Well, see, I like to call myself a beet, not tomato, because, you know, Ukrainian associations. Hi, Christy. So, yeah, I just look like, you know, I just look like you could make borscht out of me. A nice, like, red, potent borscht, you know? My grandma used to say, like red like beets. That was her thing. So that's something I still use in English. I'm not your baby. I am. I am. There's a fan right here. I moved the fan. I moved the fan to here today. Even if I wasn't married, you know what? I'm not that man's baby. Not by any means. Not by any means. No, sir. What was I gonna say? There was something else. Oh, okay. So we're 11 minutes into catch-up time, so I think it's time to. Oh, someone got one of the shoe shelves. Someone got one of the shoe shelves. Yay! Thank you, guys. We now have the leaf pillow that I consider essential, but isn't essential. Another shoe rack, and or rather, like the actual shoe rack, and the bins left. So yay! Thank you. You guys are great. You guys are awesome. Yeah, I love that James is always like, she's married everywhere. Okay, so hi, Christy. The dog. You want to see the doggo? Wait, the doggo is right there. I was thinking about that actually, and I hope not. If it's going to be hard transitioning to a safe environment. Hi, Sherry. I don't know if it's going to be hard transitioning to a safe environment. I think it's definitely going to take a little bit because it's I think noises are still going to be difficult, you know. Like today I was at the supermarket and their like alarm went off and nobody was like doing anything about it. They were just like, ah, whatever. And I was kind of like, well, guys, can you take care of that? Because there are people with PTSD that might be like really affected by it, you know? And so I was thinking about noises like that. And I think that those might be an issue for a little while, but also like we'll work on it. I have, if anything, I have like a number for a Ukrainian therapist. It's like, you know, it's accessible. So, and Ukrainian therapists are usually much cheaper. Like the one that I can recommend for him is like $15 a session. So, you know, we can do that. And we can do it through Skype and stuff like that. Like we will see. But I think that, yeah, it'd be good to like get him a therapist and stuff like that. But, you know, everything just gradually. So before we jump into the news, we're going to do a Ukrainian song as per usual. Do I need to translate when I reach out about buying a dress from the lady you recommended? I would try in English, and if they don't understand, then you could translate. Oh yeah, Cindy emoji or doggy emoji. I think that she should be able to understand you. Most people like speak basic English at least. Hmm. Yeah, of course, you're welcome. Alrighty, so I'm going to play Skrabin because Skrabin is. So there is this song, and it's called "The Places of Happy People." Google Translate is okay. Like it'll do a decent job.
А я хотів інакше, ти завжди так смішно. Їсти потечі їсти. Можливо, я не дав тобі теплоту, і ти не знаєш Бога через факту логічно. Як можна було з тим жити? А пам'ятаєш, механічна година, і наші тіні на стінах, місце щасливих людей.
The Places of Happy People. It's about. Well, I'll tell you about it once it's done. Героям слава.
Місце щасливих людей.
I'm good. How are you?
Сотнями живе так страшно, коли не знаєш, що завтра. Тепер я оглядаю і знаю ті часи, і знаю ціле світло, і полоси не варто шукати винних крім себе. А пам'ятаєш, страшенні штурмами діва, фотки загоріли, місце щасливих людей. А пам'ятаєш, старий комбат на Бродвеї, це буде сильне вчення, місце щасливих людей.
Я була в Дніпрі, ні. Я зі Львова. Ну, ні, взагалі я одного разу була в Дніпрі, але не так, що я пам'ятала дуже добре. Ой, синій. Синій. One sec, guys. I'll just grab something from the living room.
Ніколи не вивчаю маршрут, мені не важливо, тільки ти була тут. Все рівно, куди нас понесе вітер. В житті не важливий сигнал GPS, якщо не один ти рюкзак занесеш, то знаєш, для себе десь таке місце. А пам'ятаєш, велосипед Парижі, і все копало в лижі, місце щасливих людей. А пам'ятаєш, наш важно перепелектись, як на відкриті, місце щасливих людей.
Okay.
Місце щасливих людей.
Thank you. It's my chair from my dining table. I borrowed it for a little bit from my dining room. Hi. Oh. Hi. Добрый вечер. Yeah, it's doing all location. They're from Amazon too. I can send them. I can try to find the link for you. They're from a very long time ago. Well, not very, but like a while ago. So that was Skrябin. The song is very clearly for a former love of his. And it's basically like it starts out basically giving you an idea that they're no longer together. And he's singing it to her. And he's like, do you remember the night sky of Berlin? Do you remember how we were riding bicycles in Paris? Those are places of happy people. And so the whole song is basically like him remembering like things that they did together and how like trivial all of these things are compared to like life and what you need out of life, you know, when you're with a partner. Oh, hi, Luann. So yeah. Okay, so Vladimir Putin was barred from G20 summit in Indonesia. This was announced by the Italian Prime Minister Mario Draghi after the G7 summit, referring to Indonesian President Joko Widodo. At the same time, it is possible that Putin will address the participants of the summit via video link. Hello. I would really not love that to happen. I would want him to not be there at all. The summit is scheduled for November 15th, 16th on the Indonesian island of Bali. Okay, so let's see, because I want to start with like current news for the last 2 days. Syria has decided to recognize the independence of the so-called LPR and DPR, the Russian media reported, citing the Syrian Foreign Ministry. Hostomel in the Kyiv region, where Maria once stood in a hangar, was visited by British billionaire Richard Branson, a man who flew to space as a tourist. It is noted that Branson is interested in renewing the Antonov airfield, which was destroyed by Russian troops. Ukraine. Oh, my phone overheated again. Oh, wow. This is insane. Why is it so hot? Wow, this is so hot. It's crazy. Well, YouTube guys. This is very clearly oh my God. No, my phone overheated. It's so hot. It's insane. It's incredibly hot. Wow, I can't even touch that. Oh. It's back. Okay, so my phone overheated as per usual. Yeah, my phone overheated. I don't know what it is. Like, my iPhone is an iPhone 12 Pro, I think. Yeah, 12 Pro. 13 Pro. 13 Pro. And it still overheats all the time, and I don't know what it is. This is so, like, incredibly annoying. This has been happening all the time, and I'm, like, thinking, should I get a new phone? Like, what's happening here? Oh, it's so annoying. Okay, I'm not gonna put it in the thing right now because the thing is pretty hot too. So I'm just gonna put it here. This is incredibly annoying. Okay, Ukraine is the most used word in the New York Times in 2022. It has already been used in publications more than 4,500 times. In second place is the word Russia, which has been mentioned 3,300 times, according to Reddit users' calculations. Recall that in 2021, the most used word in the publication were Biden and COVID, and in 2020, Trump and coronavirus. Volodymyr Zelensky met with Indonesian President Joko Widodo in Kyiv. Visits of our partners do not stop. Today I'm meeting in Kyiv with the President of Indonesia. Thank you for feeling the support of your people and country at this difficult time for our country. Oh, I see. So there is a story of this girl, Dasha, who reported her mother under the rubble of the Amster shopping mall in social networks. Yesterday, the family searched for the woman in hospitals and waited for some news from rescuers. Today, Rasha wrote that her mother is dead. One more story from Kremenchuk. Sim, what are you doing? Her mom was working in the part of the shopping mall where the rocket hit. The declaration of the NATO summit in Madrid, which consists of 22 points, has appeared. The fourth is devoted to Ukraine and its support by the alliance. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg said that Ukraine can count on the support of the alliance for as long as necessary. Today, NATO leaders approved a comprehensive aid package for our country: secure communications, fuel, medical supplies, 100 portable systems to fight drones, and equipment to deal with mine, chemical, and biological threats. I'm using iPhone 13 Pro. Russia will have to answer to the European Court of Human Rights for crimes against Ukraine and Ukrainians. According to lawyers, the European Court is authorized to consider all lawsuits against Russia, which will be received no later than September 2022, i.e., until the aggressor country finally leaves the Council of Europe. Ukraine returned 144 servicemen from captivity, 95 of them Azovstal defenders. This is the largest exchange since the beginning of the full-scale Russian invasion. Of the 144 released, 95 were Azovstal. Among them are 43 members of the Azov regiment. Most of the released Ukrainians have severe injuries: gunshot and shrapnel wounds, blast injuries, burns, fractures, and amputations. All of them receive proper emergency medical and psychological assistance. The invaders attacked Odessa region with rockets. The strikes were carried out along the sea in the coast of Izmail region. This was reported in Operational Command South. Information about the destruction and casualties is being specified. Okay, guys, question. How many of you are on YouTube? How many of you have an ability to go on YouTube? Because if you are able to go on YouTube, please do so, because maybe, so my phone is overheating pretty hardcore, and I think it would be much, much more convenient if I just did the stream on YouTube, because I feel like today is incredibly hot in general, and my phone is like going crazy. So if you guys can go on YouTube, that would be much appreciated, because that way I can give it a break, because I can tell that it's really like it's lagging on my end as well. So if you guys can hop over, if you don't follow me on YouTube, please consider following me on YouTube. I swear it's pretty convenient. Hi, Sky. And And hey, now there is a good streaming camera for a while on YouTube now, so so you can hi Scott. So it's pretty decent picture, pretty good sound. I'm sure you will not be disappointed. Hi Tammy. So news. The YouTube is Yulia. It's also it's also linked on my profile. If you go to my if you go hi everyone, if you go over to my profile, there is a if you go over to my profile, next to the follow or message button, there is a little YouTube play button, and that button brings you to my YouTube channel. So if you'd like to do that, hi Pamela, hi Lauren, hi Carlos, hi Carolyn, hi Scott, hi Jillian, hi everyone. So yeah, if you guys want to do that, you are welcome to just hop over to my profile here, and there is YouTube linked to there. You will see a YouTube play button, and if you click on it, it'll bring you straight here. So, hi everybody. Okay, so I'm going to exit out of this stream right now, just so I have for Cinesaurus, just so I have some time to basically, you know, for my phone to stop overheating. Okay. Oh my gosh, this thing is so hot, it's crazy. Okay, good. Submit. Nice. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me just quickly do something. Let me just quickly do something. It's just like a rubber case. Just a rubber case. Just a rubber case. I normally have YouTube going on my iPad and TikTok on my phone. Now I'm doubting. Doubling. Thank you. Okay. Alrighty. Now that everyone is here, let's do this. Okay. Alrighty. So, invaders of the Russian Federation hit a brick factory in Zolensky with a rocket. This afternoon, the Russian army attacked the Zolensky community in the Kharkiv region. The invaders got into a brick factory and a private house. According to the head of the community, Viktor Kovalev, the production and outbuildings of the brick factory in Zolensky were destroyed by rocket attacks. There were no dead or wounded. Ukraine has signed transport visa-free agreement. Minister of Infrastructure. From now on, Ukrainian carriers will not need permits for bilateral and transit transportation across the EU countries and will be able to deliver goods to European markets without hindrance. This is the moment that a missile landed in Kyiv on June 26th. Recall, a man was killed and 6 people, including a child, were wounded as a result of an enemy missile landing in a residential building in Kyiv. Yeah. So this is what happened, and does not look great. Does not look great at all. Ukraine will have a new Mriya, the project of building a new plane is already in the works, said the head of the fraction Serve the People, David Arachmia. British billionaire, founder of Virgin Galactic, Richard Branson, promised to help. Today, he visited Hostomel. The new Yewleea will be an updated version based on modern digital equipment. I got ice cream. Nice. Volodymyr Zelensky met with businessman Richard Branson. The visit of British businessman Richard Branson to Ukraine is another reminder that the world and famous people continue to support us. We talked about maintaining the world's attention to the war in Ukraine, as well as prospects for cooperation and post-war reconstruction. Richard, thank you for your kind words about our people and willingness to help. I'm going to show you this conversation between Zelensky and Richard Branson. And you guys can watch it. 1 second. It's so much easier when I only have one device. So let me...
Nice to meet you. Thank you so much.
Hello, Mr. President. Nice to meet you.
Mr. President, Slava Ukraini. Героям слава. Nice to meet you again.
From Great Britain, you see, and from Europe, it's about sanctions. I was in the capital, not out of the Kyiv.
Seeing Kiev today and the places outside of
It's present.
Yeah,
We've done 2 platforms.
because we are personally not know each other. This moment
We went to Irpin, Yewleea, and Osma.
I think what was clear was that the drip feeding of weapons into Ukraine,
we created together with Rasmus, former secretary.
Yes, as for us. And the second platform,
Which can give us something.
Filled in a lot of gaps, I think, as to what you need. Go back and see where we can help. And also, we spent some time, especially for the immigrants of the sun.
Real strong as something.
Just how ghastly it is in these. I just thought we might be able to go through and see if there's any.
Around partners, for example.
Yes, I know you can see my fingerprints. I forgot to wipe the iPad today. It's funny because I can't see them from this angle, but I can always see them on camera. So it looks so much worse. But I normally wipe it every day. I just don't have it's in my room, you know? Footage of today's strike in a residential building in Mykolaiv has appeared. The rubble is still being dismantled. Now we know about 5 dead and 5 wounded. Hi, Arabella. I just saw Arabella commenting. It was really hard to hear them. Yeah, but that was also because it's not like my sound issue. In this context, it was their sound issue. It's hard for me to hear them as well because it was recorded in like a meeting. So I think the service, like the recording in general, was like pretty blah. The first photos of the exchange of prisoners, among which were 95 defenders of Azovstal, wounded, tired, but indestructible. Here are the photos. Really, the audio. Well, oh, because the audio here is also unlike the computer, but also the audio in that particular recording is just generally not great. It was like in a conference room. So these are the guys from Azovstal. Well, let me see if my phone is. Well, it seems like it's not as hot. I can try and put it up again. Let me see. Wait. Oh, let's see. Oh, 1 second. Let me just. Yeah, let me try. I'll try to put up TikTok again. Let me see. Okay. I'll try. If it overheats again, then I will just not. I did. Instagram has blocked the Russian terrorist state hashtag, which Ukrainians use to publish information about Russian crimes. The message that appears when searching for the hashtag notes that it is hidden because the social network has received complaints about it. The reason for this decision in the social network has not yet commented. Yeah, of course. Hi, James. Yeah, of course that social network has blocked this decision. It has blocked this hashtag because Russians had complained about it. Thank you, Instagram. That's very great of you because obviously sponsoring Russian terrorism and deleting the hashtag that makes it visible to the world is really helping. That's great of you, Instagram. We love that. We love to see that. I feel like hashtag Instagram sponsors Russian terrorism should probably emerge, and that will probably be even more popular. I'll see how they deal with that. Britain has imposed sanctions against the second richest man in Russia, a statement on the website of the British government. Among those sanctioned, there is Vladimir Potanin, the second richest man in Russia, the owner of the large conglomerate in terrors and the largest beneficiary of Norilsk nickel. A little girl who was injured in a shelling in Mykolaiv sings the anthem of Ukraine, things that Russia will never take away from us. Hi, Arabella. Yeah, I can see you, Arabella. Aww. Ukraine will receive 3 MLRS M270. Ukraine received $1.3 billion in aid from the US as part of the $7.5 billion package. Yep, toddlers are great. Video of the release of the Ukrainian military from captivity. ефект кидає на ніч? Я поняття не маю, що це означає, колобок, але ти питався це вже минулого разу, і я тобі серйозно кажу, якщо ти цього не поясниш, що це якийсь типа натяк на якийсь сексуальний характер якогось ідіотського плану, то я тебе просто заблокую. 2 people were killed, 8 people were injured as a result of shelling in Belopolye, Krasnopolye, and Pysareva communities of the Sumy region. The head of the Sumy Regional Military Administration, Dmytro Zhivitsky. Photos of the completely destroyed Amster shopping mall in Kremenchuk have surfaced. At the same time, Putin said today that there was no terrorist attack in Kremenchuk. The Russian army does not strike at any civilian targets, the bunker dictator said. A selection of photos on the topic. The Russian army does not strike at any civilians' objects. Shopping malls in Ukraine which were destroyed by the Russian army with their missiles. Ні, не кидає. Я питаюсь, тому що дуже багато людей пишуть всякі незрозумілі речі, які реально мають якийсь незрозумілий сексуальний характер, і тому я питаюсь, тому що реально я вже чула стільки всякого, що я поняття не маю, що це означає, і я намагаюся перевіряти кожного разу, бо є люди, які реально пишуть такий бред, що якби це і не хочеться. Я травмована тролями.
Ukrainians, Ukrainки. Nice.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, that one's gonna come. I'm gonna have you watch. But these were the shopping malls. Volodymyr Zolensky, optimistic and very important news. 144 Ukrainian warriors were returned home from the Russian captivity. 59 soldiers of the National Guard, 30 Navy, 28 Army, 17 border guards, 9 territorial defense soldiers, 1 policeman. The oldest of the liberated is 65 years old. The youngest is 19. In particular, 95 Azovstal defenders returned home. I am grateful to the Defense Intelligence of Ukraine and to everyone who worked for this result. We will do everything to bring every Ukrainian man and woman home. Okay. I will show this video, but it has subtitles. So fun fact, in English, both men and women, if you are talking about a Ukrainian woman and a Ukrainian man, you would say it the same way, Ukrainians, right? But in Ukrainian, we have genders for words. So Ukrainets is Ukrainian man, Ukrainka is a Ukrainian woman. So Ukrainci would be Ukrainian men, and Ukrainki would be Ukrainian women. Yeah, I know you can't see it yet because I was just driving the explanation for what Zelensky says. Okay, here. And I am going to show this to you guys too. I just need to adjust the screen a little bit. Oh my gosh, this thing always, come on. I'm going to take off the charging thing so I can. Okay, alrighty. You tell me if you see it. I'm going to mirror the video. Okay. You guys see it good, both YouTube and TikTok? No, it's okay, Kathleen. I was just giving you information. Oh yeah, I've been having lots of fireworks here too. Particularly yesterday. So, yep, can see it. Okay, let's do this.
Наші захисники, захисниці. Тиждень тому наша держава отримала статус кандидата на членство в Євросоюзі. А вже сьогодні зроблено черговий крок на шляху до членства. Дуже практичний крок. Підписано транспортний безвіз. Це угода, яка прибирає бар'єри для українських перевізників. Більше не треба чекати дозволів на вантажні перевезення. І це дозволить значно наростити експорт українських товарів, автотранспорту. Саме таке завдання у нашої держави зараз – не втрачати жодного тижня у відносинах з Європейським Союзом. Ми постійно будемо, попри цю війну, попри всі складнощі, робити те, що наближає нас до повноправного членства в Євросоюзі. До речі, вчора я провів спеціальну нараду, велику нараду, було 28 учасників, які представляють і виконавчу, і законодавчу, і судову гілки влади. У держави буде відповідний документ, чітка карта дій, яку зможе перевірити будь-який громадянин і будь-яка громадянка України.
Oh my gosh, 1 second.
Потрібно зробити державним інституціям, щоб ми свою частину роботи на шляху до Євросоюзу виконали. Вже 1 липня цей документ буде представлений. Сьогодні вранці взяв участь у засіданні саміту НАТО. Це особливий саміт. Саміт трансформації. Альянс змінює свою стратегію у відповідь на агресивну антиєвропейську політику Росії і російську війну проти нашої держави. Очевидно, що гарантувати безпеку в Європі в таких умовах неможливо без нашої держави. І ми зробимо все, щоб ця очевидність була трансформована в конкретні рішення для України, для Альянсу. Нам потрібні чіткі гарантії безпеки. Вони у нас будуть. Я сьогодні звернувся з цим закликом до членів НАТО знайти такий формат рішень, який передбачав би повноцінну участь України в нашій спільній європейській архітектурі безпеки. Закликав держави НАТО прискорити постачання систем протиракетної оборони для України і значно посилити тиск на державу-терориста. Один тільки сьогоднішній удар Росії по місту Миколаїв, одразу 10 ракет і всі по цивільних об'єктах, доводить абсолютно для всіх у світі, що тиску на Росію недостатньо. Одна з цих ракет, надзвукова протикорабельна ракета «Онікс», зруйнувала звичайну 5-ту поверхівку. Розбір завалів тривав протягом дня. Станом на цей час відомо про 5 загиблих. А ще удар по Очакову, по Дніпру. Продовжились російські обстріли на Харківщині, в Сумській області, також на Донбасі, Лисичанськ, Авдіївка, громади на Бахмутському напрямку. Ситуація там залишається наджорстокою і дуже тяжкою. Робимо все для того, щоб забезпечити для наших військових сучасні артилерійські системи, щоб належним чином відповідати окупантам. Росія все ж таки вичавила з Сирії повідомлення про нібито визнання окупаційних структур на Донбасі як нібито держави. Це нікчемна історія. І в такому разі жодних відносин України з Сирією більше не буде. А санкційний тиск проти Сирії буде. Навпаки, ще більше. Вперше за всі роки незалежності сьогодні відбувся візит в Київ президента Індонезії. Дуже впливової держави, яка може значно постраждати від спровокованої Росією продовольчої кризи. Тож це були важливі переговори, які відкривають для України ще один стратегічний напрямок відносин з Азією. Також Україну відвідав один з найвідоміших бізнесменів світу – Річард Бренсон. Він більш ніж просто підприємець, він візіонер, людина, яка працює заради прогресу і кращих технологій для усього людства. Його приїзд в Україну саме зараз, він побував в Гостомелі, де обговорював, зокрема, і можливості відбудови аеропорту, і побудови нашої мрії, найбільшого у світі літака, Це дуже потужний сигнал всім у світі, що Україна точно вистоїть в цій війні. Я вдячний пану Брансону за його готовність долучитися до післявоєнного відновлення нашої країни. І ще одна оптимістична, дуже важлива новина. Повернули додому 144 українських воїна з російського полону. 59 бійців Нацгвардії, 30 військово-морських сил, 28 армій, 17 прикордонних, 9 тероборонців, 1 поліцейський. Найстаршому зі звільнених 65 років, наймолодшому 19. Зокрема, додому повертається 95 захисників Азовсталі. Я вдячний Головному управлінню розвідки та усім, хто працював на цей результат. Але про це згодом. Зробимо все, щоб повернути додому кожного українця і кожну Україну. Дякую. Слава Україні!
Hi. Well, Murphy, buddy, the thing is that arguably we are already in World War III, because World War III is just a technical term that basically means that world superpowers are at war with each other. If you think about it, NATO, the United States and Russia are two world superpowers. The United States is giving us weapons against Russia. The fact that the United States is not boots on the ground fighting with Russia doesn't necessarily make it not World War III, because realistically we are. It's just that it's happening on the territory of Ukraine, and it's happening through Ukrainian lives. It is happening, and we are in World War III. We're just not in World War III in terms of boots on the ground of NATO or the United States. So there is that. Yeah, so it's, it's just a technicality. Okay, Ukraine will break relations with Syria. Volodymyr Zelensky reacted to Syria's decision to recognize the independence of the so-called LNR and DPR. Russia did squeeze reports out of Syria about allegedly recognizing occupation structures in the Donbass as alleged states. This is a worthless story, and in this case, there will be no more relations between Ukraine and Syria, and the sanctions pressure against Syria, on the contrary, will be even more, said the president of Ukraine in his address to the nation. The Russian army is preparing for a direct attack on Bakhmut. According to the researchers, the enemy is advancing in the area of Lysychansk and has received minor successes east of Bakhmut. Russian troops are also attacking Slavyansk from the northwest near the border of Kharkiv and Donetsk. In addition, researchers report that the invaders are probably planning a provocation at the Zaporizhzhia NPP. AFU conducted 7 airstrikes on a cluster of enemy forces and equipment and carried out about 150 firing missions. Ukrainian armed forces suppressed an attempted enemy assault near Dementievka. On the Kharkiv direction, the enemy carried out shelling from tanks, mortars, barrel, and rocket artillery. In the areas of Kharkiv, settlements of Pitomnik, Ukrainka, Paramoha, Dementievka, Prydyanka, Korobachkino, and Rubizhne. The Ukrainian armed forces continue destroying enemy equipment on Yewleea Island. Odessa Army. According to the army, another Panzer S-1 anti-aircraft missile and cannon system was added to the list of defeated weapons of the Russians. The supply of weapons to Yewleea Island has become very problematic for the enemy, Borchuk noted. The speaker also stressed that the regime of informational silence continues. In Zelendolsk near Kryvyi Rih in the morning, the invaders bombed a warehouse with 40 tons of grain. The explosion caused a fire. Also, the Russian army hit the center of the village of Velika Kostromka. There is destruction. NATO summit approves new aid package to Ukraine, according to Deutsche Welle. The new aid package will help Ukraine switch to weapons of the alliance standards, as well as provide non-lethal aid such as fuel and first aid kits. According to DW source at NATO, several €100 million will be allocated for the new package. Projects to help Ukraine's transition to weapons of NATO standards are planned to be prepared in cooperation with representatives of the Ukrainian authorities by end of the year. Lysychansk suffers from endless strikes. The police department is destroyed. The territory of oil refinery is damaged. The head of Luhansk army said he died. Also, is Mila on? No. Has Mila not been on today? At night, rescuers removed a body of a woman from under the rubble of a 5-story building in Mykolaiv. At 7:50, 6 dead are already known. Work to the search and rescue for the dead and disassembling of the structures of the destroyed residential building is still ongoing. Oh, weird. Thank you, Robin. Yeah, I know Mila isn't on a lot anymore. She's off today. Oh, no, today is Friday. She usually does Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Gotcha. UK to provide Ukraine with another 1.2 billion of military support to fight Russian aggression. The new British aid will pay for advanced air defense systems, drones, electronic warfare equipment, and thousands of pieces of vital equipment for Ukrainian soldiers. This brings the UK's total military support since the start of the war to 2.8 billion. Hi. Japan will allocate 100 million to Ukraine. Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida noted that his country would provide Ukraine with all possible assistance. According to him, 100 million will be spent on the purchase of medical equipment and the construction of temporary housing for internally displaced persons. In addition, Tokyo will help Kyiv expand its grain storage capacity as the harvest season approaches. 341 children have died as a result of the armed aggression of the Russian Federation in Ukraine since February 24th. In total, more than 972 children were affected. 341 children died and over 631 were injured. Russian army focused on fighting around Lysychansk oil refinery, 10 kilometers southwest of the center of Lysychansk. Ukrainian forces continue to hold their positions in the city of Lysychansk following their withdrawal from Severodonetsk. Russian forces continue to pursue an approach of creeping envelopment from the Popasna direction, removing the need to force a major new crossing of the Siversky Donets River in this sector. Current ground combat is likely focused around the Lysychansk oil refinery, 10 kilometers southwest of the city center. At the operational level, Russian forces continue to make limited progress as they attempt to encircle Ukrainian defenders in northern Donetsk Oblast via advances from Izum. It is highly likely that Ukrainian forces' ability to continue fighting, delaying battles, and then withdraw troops in good order before they are encircled will continue to be a key factor in the outcome of the campaign. Here is something that I want to say to all of the Russian bots and all of the paid Russian propagandists, right? Like, you do realize that it's much easier to spread propaganda in the Trump supporting circles and and among Russian population. Like, most people in the world who are not parts of like government cults have access to free information, right? They see satellite imaging, they see things like that. So if you think that it's easy to convince thinking people, literal thinking people, who can find their own info, who can research, who can look at like multiple publications and make their own conclusions and opinions in your bullshit, I don't know what kind of world you've been living in. And I genuinely want to like point that out to all of the people that are paid to spread Russian propaganda. You do understand that this is not Russia, right? One of the reasons why things like that work in Russia is because nobody wants to think for themselves. everybody has groupthink. And that's how fascist governments target people. They try to target people who are lacking in education. They're trying to make it so that people would be lacking in education. And they're trying to target people that are literally easy targets. You do get that, right? So just because you think that you can spread stuff like that in Russia and it's easy and everybody believes you doesn't mean that around the world you will be coming on a news stream of like a Ukrainian person who's talking about the war. And you think you can say stupid stuff and people are just going to be like, yeah, right, well, this guy's right. Also, Deza007, before somebody removes them, and you want us to believe you, I don't want anything from you, especially particularly personally from you. I don't want anything. Like nothing, right? I am Ukrainian. My family lives in Ukraine, and I relay the stuff that my family tells me. I relay the videos from local sources who are mostly on front lines, and I literally read from world accredited publications that follow the war every day. If you have your own mind, you can listen to me and make your own conclusions, just like every single person in this live does. I don't need you to do anything. I don't need you, neither do I want you to believe me, right? You can go do your own research and you can find this information. You can look at satellites, satellite imaging, you can look at where the rockets are coming from and where they're landing. All of this information is literally available for you online. I just compile it all together and tell it on the news every evening, right? Now, I'm here to be a resource and to be of help to you so you don't have to go research this stuff on your own if you're interested in it. Do I want anything from you? I don't. Okay? I don't want you to believe Russian propaganda, not even because it harms my country. But I don't want you to believe Russian propaganda because I want you to be a thinking person who can think for themselves and who doesn't have to be a limited mind, who is easy to target. Because at the end of the day, governments like Trump and governments like Putin are trying to target limited people. And they're trying to make education so inaccessible that the majority of population is limited. So if you believe either one of these two people, then you're basically admitting to being an easy target who doesn't want to think for themselves and who prefers to be a part of something else and use groupthink. Oh my gosh. Can someone please block that red profile picture? Because I don't even know where to go with that one. Because that is another thank you, bit of Russian propaganda, but it doesn't even speak English well enough for me to try and address it. So, and the reason why I call it is because I call all the bots it, because I feel like if you're not sentient, if you're not a sentient thing, then maybe it is a pretty decent way to address you. Anyways, it is highly likely that Ukrainian forces' ability to continue fighting, delaying battles, and then withdraw troops in good order before they're encircled will continue to be a key factor in the outcome of the campaign. Security Service of Ukraine establishes circumstances of rocket launch at shopping mall in Kremenchuk. According to the head of the SSU, which is SBU, Ivan Bakanov, the invaders deliberately committed a war crime. The X-22 missiles were launched from Tu-22 M3 bombers that took off the Shaykovka airfield in the Kaluga region of Russia. The missiles themselves were fired in the airspace of the Kursk region. The video from the moment of impact clearly shows that the invaders hit the shopping center, where many visitors were. You can compare satellite images of the city before and after the shelling. That is, all the inventions of Russian propaganda are refuted by facts. As for the shelling of the plant, there were no warehouses with military equipment there. It produced concrete mixing parts. At night, invaders attacked objects in the industrial and Osnoviansky district of Kharkiv with cruise missiles. Over the past day, a 55-year-old man was killed as a result of shelling in the Izum district. Another one person was injured. 5 people were injured in the Chuhuyev district, including an 11-year-old girl. She was hospitalized in a state of moderate severity. Also, according to Sinahubov, the industrial, Osnoviansky, and Nemushtinsky districts of Kharkiv were shelled at night. Hits in infrastructure facilities were reported. According to preliminary data, there were no victims. Russian invaders have fled from Zmyiny Island, which is something we've discussed yesterday. That's amazing news. According to preliminary information, the invaders blew up the remains of their equipment and moved away from the island on 5 boats. Now the island is on fire. Explosions are heard there. That was yesterday. The Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation confirmed that the Russian army left Snake Island. At the same time, they called it a voluntary withdrawal of forces and a gesture of goodwill. Yeah, okay. If they were able to leave in 5 small boats, then they were probably encircled. They were probably bombarded by the Ukrainian army, which we did do that, and they probably fled. So, a gesture of goodwill with Russia? I don't think so. Yeah. The export of Ukrainian electricity to Europe began last night. Today, from 1 o'clock in the morning, such exports went in the direction of Romania. The initial volume is 100 MW. The export potential of Ukrainian electricity to Europe is up to 2.5 GW. Under this scenario, the state will be able to receive more than 770 billion Ukrainian hryvnias a year. Henkel Bautechnik, Ukraine, a manufacturer of building materials and mixtures, Servicemen, has reopened 2 of its 4 plants in Ukraine. Vasyl Dudnik, the company's general manager, told Forbes Ukraine about this in an interview. From the first day of the war, for safety reasons, all factories were closed. At this time, the company's 2 production sites in western Ukraine and the Kyiv region have resumed operations. The company does not operate in the temporarily occupied territories and near combat zones, so the plants in Kharkiv and Kherson regions are still closed. The company has no information about their fate and condition today. Heroyam Slava. During the war, the humanitarian projects of Henkel Bautechnik and the global company Henkel, which announced its withdrawal from the Russian market in April, reached hundreds of millions of hryvnias. Tens of millions will be directed to the company by the company to the post-war reconstruction of Ukraine. Ukraine is a country with the highest value as a person, and we are at war against the aggressor for whom the highest value is the weapon. Volodymyr Zolensky signed the published photos. Here is the collection of photographs that he published yesterday. Okay, 1 sec. I'm trying to figure out how to move my fan a little bit. Let me just put my fan a little lower down so it can go more onto me because it's really hot and I really want it to be not as hot. Okay. Oh my gosh, yes. Perfect. Oh, yes. Perfection. Awesome. I don't know why I did not do that earlier. Amazing. Okay. Updated map of the situation in the east of Ukraine from European war experts. In their opinion, the occupying Russian troops entered the southwestern outskirts of Lysychansk. Also, it is reported about the capture of the Russian army of Verkhnekamenka in the Luhansk region. We're waiting for official confirmation from the General Staff of Ukraine. The commander-in-chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Zaluzhny, published a video of the Ukrainian Armed Forces strikes in Snake Island. Unable to withstand the fire of our artillery, rocket, and air strikes, the invaders left the island. I thank the defenders of Odessa region. A deep bow to the designers and manufacturers of the Ukraine self-propelled howitzer Bogdan. Gratitude to foreign partners for the provided means of destruction, wrote the commander-in-chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Today it is time to act to help Ukraine with weapons. Klitschko speaks at the NATO summit. He gets a standing ovation. If we let Putin win in Ukraine, the results will be terrible, not only for our country, but for the entire democratic world. Therefore, it is time to act today to help Ukraine with high-quality, effective weapons, Vitaly Klitschko said at the NATO summit. The audience gives him a standing ovation. The Ukrainian armed forces liberated the village of Potyomkine in the Kherson region from the invaders. Poland has completed construction of a 5-meter fence on the border with Belarus. The Odessa region has been completely liberated from the Russian army, Army Speaker Serhiy Brachuk said. He stressed that with the withdrawal of the Russian army from the village of Bila in Izmail district, which is located on Zmyny Island, there are no more invaders on the territory of the region. Kira, are you Russian or are you Ukrainian? I do have AC, but the problem with AC in this room is that the ceiling is really high and the AC vent is on the ceiling, so it doesn't necessarily like cool the room off as much as it would, and it has 2 giant windows in a small room, so those kind of like, you know, the heat comes out through them. Kira, are you Russian or Ukrainian? Because depending on which country, thank you so much, Hellisher7. But Kira, if you're Russian, then Kira is a Muscovite. Okay, democratic world means something that you will unfortunately never know because you are from Russia and you are coming here instead of supporting Ukraine, which you clearly know your country is invading. You're asking me questions to provoke me, right? Kira, see, I don't believe you. Democratic world is, are you Russian or Ukrainian? I'm Ukrainian. Said you refuse to debate? Do you understand what a debate is? And it's not sad. I'm not trying to debate you because it's not that I refuse to debate you. I just know how this works. I know how bots work and I know how provocations work. And I know what Russians pay their bots to do on streams of Ukrainians and people who talk about Ukraine. Now, I don't refuse to debate you. Actually, yeah, I do. But it's because I literally owe you nothing. And there is no debate. And I'm not here to debate you. I am not here to... I'm genuine when I ask you why I ignore the suffering from East Ukrainian people. Alrighty, dear troll. I'm not ignoring the suffering of the Eastern Ukrainian people. I'm legitimately talking about it every day. You know why they're suffering? Because there are bombs coming from Russia onto their homes and all of their houses are being destroyed. And also one thing that I'm going to tell you is that there are millions of people on this app who are from Eastern Ukraine who are literally telling you, people from Eastern Ukrainian regions are legitimately telling you that Ukraine has never bombed its own regions and that it's always been Russia who has been killing them and destroying their houses and they fled because of the Russian invasion. And you still choose to be paid by Putin to come onto streams and do this. UN says Ukrainian responsibility was on East Ukraine. Yeah, of course. If you listen to Russian propaganda, that's exactly what it says. If you get paid by Putin to spread stuff like that, that's exactly what it says. Now I'm going to tell you, I'm done with you because you don't deserve an ounce of my time anymore. But I hope that your 5 rubles are going to help you a lot in life. And I hope that your 5 rubles are really, really, really going to improve your situation because otherwise I do not see why you would embarrass yourself as much as to accept a job in a freaking troll factory. Peace. Is everything going according to plan? Again, as a gesture of goodwill, Russian troops are fleeing from Snake Island. The Russian Defense Ministry confirmed. That is to say, in order to feel in love Moscow into goodwill, it must be beaten systematically. So less words, more weapons, and more likely to peace without the Nazi letter Z. Так, я Yulia. Invaders shelled Slavyansk again with cluster munitions. The explosions occurred on Batyuk and Svobodna streets. People liable for military service are summoned to the military registration and enlistment offices in Belarus. According to the Belarusian newspaper Zerkala, the summoners do not specify the reason for summoning, but there is a warning of criminal liability for failure to appear. People at the military registration and enlistment offices are told that it's just training in case of a military threat within the framework of mobilization exercises. By the way, earlier the General Staff of the AFU reported that Belarus is studying the possibility of hidden mobilization. Boy, long live the Z. Did it make you feel better? Hope it made you feel better. Lukashenko urged Moscow to be ready to use nuclear weapons. We need to show them what could be. We don't need this war. Lukashenko said 2 contradictory sentences. Yes, Russia is Zalupa, you know? I agree. Officially, Ukraine breaks off diplomatic relationships with Syria. This is stated on the website of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine. Also, Ukraine imposes economic sanctions in response to the recognition of the independence of the so-called LDNR. Zmyiny Island, before and after the strike of Ukrainian troops on enemy positions on June. What? I'm Ukrainian, literally. That's how I got you. Zmyiny Snake Island before and after the strike of Ukrainian troops on enemy positions on June 29th. It is not at all surprising that after this Russia needed a goodwill gesture. Heroyam slava. Hi. The armed forces of Ukraine are planning to establish direct physical control over Snake Island. This was announced by the Deputy Chief of the Main Operational Directorate of the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Alexei Gromov. Also, wait, I don't know if you... Oh, did you... Yeah, no, I think that person is Ukrainian, maybe. Now Ukraine controls the island with the help of weapons. Sorry. With the help of weapons. Long-range artillery, missile troops, and aircraft. Glory to Ukraine. Heroyam slava. Okay, one sec. I need to close off Telegram and open it again because it was glitching. This is what Zmyiny Island. Thank you. This is what Zmyiny Island looked like before the Russian invasion and before Ukraine attacked Russian troops, and after, before and after. So Ukraine completely pushed out Russian troops out of there. Thank you. In Kremenchuk and Mykolaiv, the death toll as a result of Russian missile attacks increased. At the site of emergency rescue operations in the territory of the Amster shopping mall in Kremenchuk, 5 fragments of bodies were additionally found. In total, 22 fragments of bodies have been discovered since the start of the work. In Mykolaiv, during the search and analysis of the structures of the destroyed 5-story building, rescuers found the body of a woman. Thus, as of today, there are already 7 dead and 6 injured. I don't know. Why don't you show us Iraq before and after? I mean, if you would like to bring light to what happened in Iraq, then please do so, because I'm a Ukrainian citizen and I will, bring light to the situation in my country. If you care about Iraq that much, then you should probably talk about it. Also, if since you are a bot who is just trying to deflect, then maybe you would consider thinking about the fact that Iraq had already happened and we can't change anything that had happened, although it's tragic and awful and we should have acted better. Maybe we can take that as an example of what not to do and help Ukraine not become the same situation as Iraq. So your deflection is not going to work with me, and anything stupid you're going to say in order to make me provoked, feel cornered, something like that is literally not going to work. I unfortunately have so much experience with Russian trolls and bots that you're not special, honey. What do you have to say about Donbass? What do I have to say about Donbass? I have to say that Donbass has been brutally attacked by Russia in 2014 and invaded. And if you'd like to hear more about Donbass, I would suggest that you follow that Olga girl who's from Donbass and had to flee from Ukraine twice in her life, once from Donbass and once from Kyiv, and both times because of Russian invasion. And now go on your merry way. Nobody invited you here. The United States will soon announce the transfer of air defense to Ukraine, and France will send us 6 more Caesar self-propelled guns. French President Macron announced an additional shipment of Caesar self-propelled guns to Ukraine at the NATO summit. The President, Joe Biden, said that the U.S. will announce a new $800 million military assistance package for Ukraine, which includes advanced air defense systems, artillery and ammunition, counter battery radars, additional ammunition for MLRS. The Iron Curtain between Russia and the West is already descending, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. As for the Iron Curtain, it is almost already descending. Let them, Western countries, just be careful not to pinch anything for themselves. But this process has been launched. Lavrov said, adding that since 2014, relations between Russia and the EU have practically ceased to exist. Well, I wonder why. By the end of 2022, satellite internet from Starlink will appear on Ukrzaliznytsia trains, said Yuri Shigol, head of the State Special Communications Service. Ukrzaliznytsia has already successfully tested a pilot project of installing Starlink on trains, and by the end of the year, satellite internet connection will appear on trains on a permanent basis. In the development of the dialogue with Germany, I held talks with Frank-Walter Steinmeier. We discussed building up defense support for Ukraine. We appreciate the solidarity of the German people on our path to the EU and support in countering aggression. I thanked for the condolences in connection with the inhuman attack on Kremenchuk, the president of Ukraine. Russian President Vladimir Putin from Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zolensky. It is unknown what the message says, as well as Putin's reaction to it is unknown. Recalled that Widodo visited Ukraine yesterday and met with President Volodymyr Zelensky. Today, the president of Indonesia is already in Russia. Zelensky has developed a plan to help fight back the Russians. Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Zelensky and his administration have a vision of how to change the dynamics before the end of the year in the next few months. Therefore, we must help Ukraine as much as we can. And that's according to Boris Johnson. Russian helicopter Ka-52 Alligator was shot down in the sky over Zmyiny Island. The helicopter crashed into the open sea on the way from the island to Crimea. It also became known that a pair of Russian Su-35 fighters fired 3 Kh-31 anti-radar missiles along the Ukrainian coast. No damage or casualties. Nobody met Putin at the plane during the Caspian summit, while other participants were greeted with bread and salt and flowers. And compare the table of the participants of the Caspian summit, the first one, there are 5 people on it, and the leaders of the G7 countries, 7 people, the second photo. Comments are superfluous. So this is Vladimir Putin not being greeted by anybody as he descends from the airplane. Wait. Well, rather, these are other politicians. Oh. Jesus Christ. Oh, hi, Mashbook. Good to see you. Croatian President Zoran Milanovic warned the leaders of NATO member countries at the summit in Madrid about the danger of destabilizing the situation in Bosnia and Herzegovina. The photos of the enemy attack aftermath in the Dnipropetrovsk region this morning. The invaders fired at Zelenodolsk and Velika Kostroma in settlements, a warehouse, more than a dozen pieces of agricultural equipment, a non-residential building, and a gardener's community, and 5 beehives were destroyed. In addition, 3 buildings were damaged, including the premises of the village club and the power line, said the head of the Dnipropetrovsk Regional Council, Mykolai Lukashuk. No casualties. In Russia, they began to repeat the pattern that Poland began to work out the scenario for the division of Ukraine. This opinion was expressed by the director of the Russian Foreign Intelligence Service, Sergei Naryshkin, sorry. Who cares about Ukraine? Well, clearly not you, but I do. And if you don't care about Ukraine, nobody's asking you to be here. So have a good day. This opinion was expressed by the director of the Russian Foreign Intelligence Service, Sergei Naryshkin. Allegedly, the option of creating a proxy state controlled by Poland in the eastern regions is being worked out, which will be under the protection of the Polish armed forces. And that is the emoji that the authors of this article put down to react to that speech, because Poland in the eastern regions, that's a little far away from Poland, don't you think? Be a little strategically. It'd be strategically impossible, almost. Russians fired 2 missiles in Odessa region today. Head of Regional Military Administration, Maxim Marchenko. There were no damages or casualties, he said. Alexander Usyk commented on the situation in Ukraine. He is a boxer. The Russian Federation is bombing my country, destroying peaceful homes where people live. No military infrastructure, but cities, shopping centers, hospitals, said the Ukrainian boxer. Recall that the Ukrainian will defend his world titles on August 20th in the city of Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Ukraine, together with the IMF, is developing options for restructuring the state debt. So far, 2 options are being considered. The first is to use frozen Russian assets as collateral. The second is a request for consent, that is a request from the issuer for the owner of the bonds to agree on changes to the terms of the issued securities. A decision is unlikely to be made before the summer. Video describing what happened in Snake Island during all 126 days of the war. Destruction of 5 boats, a tugboat, and amphibious aircraft, ammunition depots. All this forced Russia to make a goodwill gesture and retreat from the island. So right here, I'm going to play this video for you so you guys can see what happened. I'm not sure really how, I'm not sure. Let me see actually if it has, okay, it does not have subtitles. So I'm going to put this video into the link description to this YouTube live, and you can watch it later if you want to. To hide the chat, you can basically swipe right on your screen, and then the chat will be hidden. Also, guys, just a gentle reminder, I'm going to tell you, because there are a lot of you over here right now, I'm going to describe this situation to you so you know. Oh, thank you for buying the second shoe shelf. There is a guy from Ukraine coming to stay with me. He's 18 years old, and he's a member of LGBTQIA. He does not know that we have been putting together this room for him. This is the reason why my background looks different on streams lately, because I am literally living in this room trying to organize it for him. I have an Amazon wish list for him for his room in my link in bio. If you guys are capable of getting some items off that wish list, it would be greatly, greatly appreciated, because, well, he's 18. He has never been out as a gay person because, you know, his parents and community do not understand that. So if you are able to get some things from this wish list, it'd be really great, because this amazing community came together and was able to make sure that he will be able to stay in this room, and this room is going to look amazing, and this room is going to be comfortable. And what we have done so far is we have put up shelves, we have like done the bedding, we basically got almost everything that was needed except for like a couple of items and some decorations. So if you would like to check out the Amazon wish list, I would highly encourage you to do so. And if you would like to help out a Ukrainian kid settle in New York City, that would be really, really greatly appreciated. Almost everything has been gotten from the wish list. I think out of the essential items, the only things that are left are the 3 bins because they're storage bins. I personally do think that the green leaf pillow is essential. It isn't, but I would like for it to be essential. And then there is just some like little statues, and he is a photographer. So I put a Polaroid onto that wish list because I thought it would be something really cool for him to have. And it's a limited edition Polaroid with Keith Haring and two packs of film that are also Keith Haring. And Keith Haring is a very iconic artist within the LGBTQIA community. So that's just what I thought. So if you would like to check out the wish list and if you would like to contribute, please do so. It would be highly, highly, highly appreciated. And you will do a very good deed for a kid who is coming over to start a new life. Okay. Evening address of Volodymyr Zelensky. Undoubtedly, the main word today is also Zmyiny. Apparently, there was just as much talk about Zmyiny only on the day when the Russian ship arrived there. Then the ship left forever, and now the island is free again. I'm grateful to the defense intelligence of Ukraine, the fighters of Alpha. I'm grateful to our gunners, pilots of the Army, Aviation, and Air Force that command Alexandria. Missile attack on Odessa region of Operational Command South. We already know about 10 dead. Ending the war in Ukraine does not require Putin's resignation from the presidency of Russia. This opinion was expressed by British Prime Minister Boris Johnson. According to him, Putin, in view of the significant support among the Russian population, can end the war on virtually any terms, writes the Independent. Rocket attack on the Odessa region was launched tonight. A 9-story apartment building and a recreation center were completely destroyed as a result of the strike on the village of Serhiivka. 19 people were killed and 34 injured, including 5 children in the 9-story apartment building. 8 people were saved, including 3 children and a pregnant woman. The search for bodies is complete. A total of 150 to 160 people lived in the 9-story building. There are dead animals in the apartment, mostly cats. Barking dogs can be heard. The building was completely damaged on the side. The floor plates were destroyed, State Emergency Service said. 2 people were killed, including 1 child, a boy of 12, and 5 more were injured. 3 people remain under the rubble, including 2 children. Russian troops partially succeeded within Lysychansk refinery and around Lysychansk. Institute for the Study of War. Russian forces continued their offensive south and east of Bakhmut and north of Slavyansk. Russian invaders continued to attempt to regain control of population center of Kharkiv. Ukrainian counterattacks forced Russian forces on the southern front to prioritize defensive operations. Thank you, Paul. Russian occupation authorities have taken measures to ensure further economic and financial integration of the occupied territories into the Russian system. The Russian army has thrown its main efforts to encircle the Ukrainian troops in the Lysychansk district from the south and west and establish full control over the Lysychansk region. The General Staff of the AFU, Armed Forces of Ukraine. The main from the morning summary. The enemy is storming to the next direction in order to block the logistical support of our units. In the Lysychansk direction, the enemy is shelling our positions with barrel and rocket artillery in areas of Siversk, Bilogorivka, Lysychansk, and Voichayarivka. The enemy is trying to take control of a section of Bakhmut-Lysychansk road with no success. At the same time, the enemy intensified combat operations in Kramatorsk direction. In the Bakhmut direction, the enemy attempts to improve the tactical position in the direction of Pokrovsk with no success. Oh yeah, okay, I hate you too, that's fine. You know what's funny? One of the reasons why I mentioned the wish list is because I figured that all of the trolls are going to leave. The second that I mentioned an Amazon wish list, the trolls were going to disperse. And you know what happened? They did. Right away. Isn't that awesome? 800 U.S. companies want to produce weapons for Ukraine. The U.S. Department of Defense has received 1,300 proposals from 800 companies to produce innovative weapons for Ukraine. According to the newspaper, the Pentagon in the coming weeks may decide which companies will start producing weapons for Ukraine and the United States. Priority is given to those who can complete the projects in 30 to 180 days, depending on the complexity of the order. Pentagon proposals should include weapons capabilities for air defense, anti-personnel, coastal defense, anti-tank combat, unmanned aerial systems, counter-battery, and secure communications, which have been identified as key for Ukraine and military need. A missile strike was launched against the Odessa region by strategic aviation aircraft towards the Black Sea. At night, the enemy struck with powerful Soviet-type X-22 missiles. Its warhead weighs 900 kilograms. The Russian Federation has a lot of such missiles. They will continue to hit civilian objects, said Serhiy Brachuk, spokesman for the Odessa RMA. Volodymyr Zelensky addressed the participants of the Four Game Changers festival held in Vienna, Austria. Ukrainian game-changing consists in the fact that we give a chance to do what should have been done a long time ago. Strengthen European unity as much as possible to rid Europe of dependence on Russian energy sources, maximize support for the free mass media that work according to journalistic standards so that there is something to protect the truth from propaganda, conspiracy theories, and anti-Semitic theories. Create effective common European tools for protection against cyber threats. And it is absolutely necessary, what is absolutely necessary is to simplify And it is absolutely necessary. It is simply vitally necessary to strengthen international law with real punishment for its violation. In the morning, air defense forces shot down a missile in the Mykolaiv region. Russians attack Lysychansk oil refinery, hold part of it, destroy house by house in the city head of Luhansk, RMA Serhiy Haidai. The shelling of Lysychansk is very dense. Residents of the city sit in the basement around the clock. The shelling caused houses and 2 shopping centers to burn, one of which burned out 3 floors at once. And the other object, a fire of about 500 square meters, was extinguished. A resident of Lysychansk, who had been seriously wounded a week earlier, died in a hospital in Dnipro on June 30th. Russians are storming the Lysychansk refinery, holding the northwestern and southeastern parts of the refinery. The Russians stormed the areas of Topolevka and the northern part of Vycheyarivka and Malorezantsevo, partially succeeding, holding a section of the Topolevka-Lysychansk road under fire control. At the same time, the enemy offensive in the direction of Loskutovka, Lysychansk gelatin factory, Ukrainian soldiers stopped and forced the retreat. In the Kremenchuk shopping mall destroyed by a rocket attack, 28 body fragments have already been found. This was reported by Irina Zub, press officer of the Kremenchuk District Department of the State Emergency Services in Poltava region. As of 8 a.m. on July 1st, rescuers and utility workers had removed 85% of the rubble of the Amster shopping mall. Western sanctions can become a pretext for war, said Medvedev. I would like to note once again that under certain circumstances, such hostile measures, sanctions against Russia, can also be qualified as an act of international aggression, and even as a casus belli, a reason for war. In response, the state has the right to individual and collective collective self-defense, said Dmitry Medvedev, deputy chairman of the Russian Security Council. Right. Sanctions are consequences, not an attack. There are consequences to the attack. You stupid piece of cake. Piece of cake. The terrorist country is killing our people. In response to defeats on the battlefield, they're at war with civilians, is how the head of the office of the president, Andriy Yermak, reacted to the rocket attack in the Odessa region. Russia is not doing work on mistakes. It's not a mistake for them. This is a deliberate, bloody terror tactic. Deliberate, chaotic shelling and mass casualties. Ukraine needs missile defense systems. We have to protect people. Mikhailo Podolyak, advisor to the head of the presidential office, wrote on Twitter, reacting to the night shelling of the Odessa region. Ukrainian president and online president of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, addressed the Verkhovna Rada. EU ambassadors are present at the speech, reports MP Zheleznya. The EU flag was installed in the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine. Ukraine is Europe. Today, together with the chairman of the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine and the Prime Minister we're signing a joint statement, which is a signal of unity of all branches of government and evidence of our determination to achieve Ukraine's strategic goal, namely full membership in the European Union. Signing this statement should mean the same as signing an application for admission on the 5th day of the war. We went to the candidacy for 115 days, and our path to membership should not take years or decades. We have to overcome this path quickly, make our part of the job perfect, to enable our friends in the European Union to make another historic decision for us just as quickly and in a consolidated way. Ukraine has introduced a visa regime with Russia as of today. Russian citizens, in order to get to Ukraine, now need to get a visa. According to the decision of the Cabinet of Ministers, Russians are forbidden to enter, leave, transit, stay, and travel in Ukraine without visas. Oh my God. Russian citizens. What different opinions? It's not a different opinion. I'm a Ukrainian citizen who's reading in the news about what's happening in my country. What opinion do you have? That Russia is not bad? That Ukraine is bad? That Ukraine also did bad things or something like that? That's not an opinion. That's just blatantly wrong. And that's blaming the victim. So, no, I don't allow misinformation in my streams. According to the decision of the Cabinet of Ministers, restrictions on border crossing also apply to residents of border regions of Russia. That is, they're allowed to cross our border only through international and interstate checkpoints. To cross the Ukrainian border, a Russian must have an invitation and at least 52,000 Ukrainian hryvnias on their account. It is reported that Russians will undergo deeper checks for visas. So this is actually interesting because my mom's best friends, their family, the husband in the family does not have a Ukrainian citizenship, but the daughters and the mom do. And I wonder if, because he doesn't have a visa, he's now going to be forbidden to stay on the territory of Ukraine. Huh. Great news from Canada, vital for Ukrainian armed forces, announcement of further supply of important assets, armored combat support vehicles and drone cameras, crucial for our ability to confront aggressor. A new mass grave was found in Mariupol on Kyivska Street. There are about 100 bodies of people who have been buried since the end of February. Thank you, Linda. Near the mass grave, the invaders are removing the rubble. There is no question of reburial, says an advisor to the mayor of Mariupol, Petro Andrushenko. Temporary street graves are gradually turning into permanent ones. The Central District, 8 Kotlyarska Street, a stone's throw from the humanitarian headquarters, graves since April. Gosh. British intelligence update. On 30th of June 2022, the Russian Ministry of Defense announced that its forces had withdrawn from Snake Island in the northwest Black Sea. The island was seized by Russia on the first day of the invasion and sits along the main shipping lanes to Odessa and its adjacent ports. The Ukrainian armed forces conducted attacks against the Russian garrison in the past few weeks using missile and drone strikes. In addition, it used anti-ship missiles to interdict Russian naval vessels attempting to resupply the island. Russia has highly likely withdrawn from Snake Island owing to the isolation of the garrison and its increasing vulnerability to Ukrainian strikes, rather than a gesture of goodwill, as it has claimed. Separately, Russian ground forces claim to have captured the village of Privilla, northwest of the contested Donbas town of Lysychansk. Intense fighting probably continues for the commanding high ground around Lysychansk oil refinery. 343 children killed and more than 635 wounded as a result of Russian invasion in Ukraine. Australia imposed sanctions against 16 more Russians, in particular Alina Kabayeva, who is said to be Vladimir Putin's mistress, several Russian ministers, including the head of the Russian Ministry of Agriculture, Dmitry Patrushev, Transport Minister Vitaly Savelyev, businessmen Igor and Mikhail Putin, and others have been sanctioned. An updated map of the situation in eastern Ukraine from European war experts. According to them, Russian invaders took control of Privilla after forcing the Seversky Donets River from the north and west. It is also reported that the AFU counterattack continued in the northeast of Kherson region, and another settlement was repulsed. European experts also recalled in passing the Russian Federation's goodwill gesture when Russian troops retreated from Zmyiny Island under the onslaught of the AFU. The situation there is on the last map. I'm going to show you these maps in 1 second. So in purple, let me tell you. So purple is occupied territory pre-February 24th. Red, occupied territory since February 24th. Light pink is forward Russian operating areas. And then light yellow is recently recaptured by Ukraine. Lukashenko already threatens post-Soviet countries. Today, the countries of the post-Soviet space should be genuinely interested in rapprochement with the Union state, if, of course, they want to preserve their sovereignty and independence. Yeah, so he's threatening basically all post-Soviet republics to stand with Russia. Unless they want to lose their sovereignty. So they're legitimately threatening post-Soviet republics with invading them. We have already surprised the world. We have come together to do the impossible. We will definitely win, although no one expected it, for the sake of our own peaceful, free, and democratic future. These are the photos that Volodymyr Zelensky shared along with this message. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Cine is super out. Oh my gosh, why does this... Oh, gotcha. 1 second. Well, enjoy the view of Cine for a second. I have to switch. I did not charge my tripod, so... You know how I am. Okay. Invaders fired 10 rockets at Mykolaiv in the morning. The Russians hit private businesses. One of them suffered serious damage. Others have minor damage. Ukrainian borscht is recognized as a UNESCO cultural heritage. From now on, the culture of cooking Ukrainian borscht is included in the list of intangible cultural heritage in need of immediate protection. This is actually hilarious and amazing at the same time, because Russians keep trying to claim that borscht is a Russian dish that Ukrainians cook too, but borscht is actually a Ukrainian dish that Russians took away from us. So the fact that it's now under UNESCO protection as a Ukrainian dish is freaking hilarious. It is such a slap in the face to Russia. There is no such thing as UNESCO heritage protection for a freaking soup. It's amazing. I am dying off of these news. It's so funny. I have to make a video about this. July 2nd in the Odessa region, day of mourning for the victims of the Russian attack. Also at this moment, it is known that 20 people have already died, 16 in the residential building and 4, including 1 child, on the territory of the recreation center. 37 people from a residential building were injured, including 6 children and 1 person from a recreation center. 38 people were hospitalized. No, so borscht is not Russian. Borscht is actually a Ukrainian dish. And one of the things that Russians are going to tell you, like even, so the Russians, one of the reasons why, like I was advocating very early on to not follow Russian influencers for their news, because at the end of the day, all of them have pride and they have this thing where they might support Ukraine, right? Or be against the war. That also doesn't mean they support Ukraine. That means they're against the war because sanctions, because people don't like them, because other reasons. Like, here's the thing. They're usually wrong reasons, right? But also because most Russian people that I talked to, and Russian influencers and all of this shit, and like Russian creators, right? When I say you guys stole this, and that from us, and you claim it as yours, they're like, oh my gosh, okay, I understand the invasion is wrong, but like you guys are going overboard with all of these things. No, we're not going overboard because you fucking appropriated our culture and told the whole world that it's yours. And now you think that it's like okay to say things like, oh my gosh, like this is so annoying though, these Ukrainians are like trying to like, claim their independence so much. Like, no, we are just telling you that you have no freaking culture. You took it away from us and you showed it to the whole world as yours. You lied, you schemed, you stole, and you looted. And now all of you online are sitting there and being like, oh, of course I'm against the war, but God, this is so annoying when these Ukrainians are running around and doing this, and that. And there are a ton of Russian creators that do that. And so that's why in the beginning too, I was just like, please don't follow them for Ukraine materials. Hi, Smiley. Because they're honestly like, they're not useful. They're not trying to shed light on Ukraine. They're not trying to help Ukraine. They're trying to garner your sympathy. And they're trying to make you like them, and they're taking your money from gifts, and they're taking your money from like other things, and they're like making money online off of the invasion of Ukraine. At the end of the day, they're making money and they're getting attention off of the invasion in Ukraine, while they're sitting there and being like, my God, come on. Like, borscht, really? Is that what you want to talk about? Yes, that's what we want to talk about. Because if we don't show the whole world exactly how much stuff you took from us, you're like, everything that you have done is never going to be shown. Never, And that's like the thing that, yes, petty things like borscht are important because they're not petty in this scenario. They're just showing just another thing that you took from us. And if it was just like, okay, you took borscht and you claimed it as yours, like, okay, sure. But then like, no, you stole everything, every single thing. And your egos won't let you admit it. And it's like upsetting, And anytime I see like Ukrainian creators commenting under Russian creators' videos and being like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for your support. Like, no. As I've said before, and I will say it again, if it's a Russian person speaking English on TikTok or on social media, they're not trying to help. Because they're talking to a Western audience. Their perspective on the war in Ukraine doesn't matter. That's a fact. If they're talking in English, then they're talking to a Western audience. The Western audience can't do anything within Russia to help. So it's for them. It's for their ego, and it's to be a good Russian. If they're talking in Russia, because if they actually wanted to help, they would be talking in Russian to Russian audiences, trying to change their mind and trying to do something. But they don't. They're talking to you guys in English because they want you to sympathize with them and think they're good and follow them and like them and stuff like that. And they're literally getting followers off of the war in Ukraine by doing nothing. Next time there is a Russian creator who says that they are helping Ukraine and that they are against the war, Ask them what they have accomplished so far to help Ukraine. A single thing. One single thing. What have they done to help Ukraine? They're not going to be able to answer that question. They might say that they went to a protest in Berlin or wherever the heck it is that they live. And what does that do? It's the same as like to Putin and to Russian governments, Russians abroad who don't have Russian citizenships and will never come back to Russia. Them protesting is the same as an American protesting, a French person protesting, anybody protesting. Literally doesn't matter. Can I ask your opinion on Dud and Varlamov? I don't like them. I don't like any of these Russian pseudo like influencers who come out, or like Russian celebrities who left Russia and who are cashing out on talking about the war. The one thing that Russian citizens can do these days, here's my thing, right? It's like important for Russian people to speak up that they're against the war. If they're outside of Russia, they can't change anything. If they fled Russia after the invasion, they fled for their comfort, right? If they're sitting in Lithuania and Berlin and America, in London, and like literally anywhere, right? And they're talking about the invasion of Ukraine, they are doing it for publicity, for themselves, and for their own money, for their own comfort, for their whatever. Because at the end of the day, it's not going to help or change anything. And what Russians can do after they flee, after this, after that, like, is to literally take a back seat, shut up, and stop defending themselves. If you fled Russia, you don't live in Russia. If you can't change anything, if you have no change to the situation, then stop defending yourself online. Stop talking about it online. Stop doing these things online, and literally go fundraise, go help Ukraine, go volunteer, and stop feeding your ego and asking for people's approval of what you're doing. None of these people, Varlamov, not Varlamov, anybody who's talking about this stuff, what are they accomplishing by talking about it? What are they accomplishing by being like, yes, Russia is so corrupt. Yes, Putin. Yes, like there are people that are against the war. Yes, Putin is so bad. Oh, we don't like Putin. Okay, you don't like Putin. But at the end of the day, if you don't have a citizenship to Russia, you fled Russia, you're not coming back to Russia. You, to Putin and to the situation in Russia, you are the same as like a French person saying that, because you have no relation to it. And at the end of the day, you can't do anything unless you're literally willing to go back and storm the Kremlin. You aren't, right? Take a back seat. What Russians can do is Russians can stop deflecting attention to themselves so people don't look at them and go, oh my gosh, but there are good Russians. Oh my God, look, good Russians. They can just stop feeding their ego. Literally take a back seat, go help, stop asking for recognition for it. It's like Russians are literally asking for so much recognition for like doing the bare minimum. They're like, I'm against the war, I'm so amazing. Like, for what? For being against the war? What have you done for it? What have you done to stop the war? What have you done to help Ukraine? Nothing. Shut up. Like, there's this thing that pissed me off so much. I will show you what it is. It's a cool song. It's a cool song. Oh. And at first, you might think that it's a really cool gesture from a Russian person. They support the war. They support Ukraine, right? But I will show you what happens in this scenario. So, 1 second. Where do I have? What was it called? Squirrel. I sent it to you, right? I did. Okay. So here, I will show you this.
One Ukrainian man fighting evil again, fighting evil again. One Ukrainian man. Two Ukrainian men fighting evil again, fighting evil again. Two Ukrainian men. Three Ukrainian men and women fighting evil again, and women fighting evil again, and women. Three Ukrainian men and women. All Ukrainian men and women fighting evil again, and women fighting evil again, and women. All Ukrainian men and women.
Okay. So you might think that this is cool, and you might think that this is an awesome thing, and you might think that this is great. Now, this man is Russian. He answered that question in the next video. And he has the whole, it says, to download this ringtone, all Ukrainian men and women, you can go click on the link. So he is making money off of this music. He said that he's Russian, but not in Russia anymore. There is a previous video on his page where he says that he fled Russia after the invasion because he doesn't agree with the government. So what this man does is he goes, takes the situation in Ukraine, produces this ringtone goes viral, he puts it into downloads, and he's effectively making money on the fucking war in Ukraine. This is a Russian person who's making money on the war in Ukraine, because at the end of the day, this video doesn't help Ukraine in any way. This ringtone doesn't help Ukraine in any way. It helps this dude make money. And then this is the second video. So the next thing is in Russian, and it says, "Hi friends, thank you for your support. I've been asked to produce a full version of the song."
Ukrainian man, можно и нужно сделать, но для этого
He says it's possible and it's necessary, but for this,
нужен такой четкий шаффл техно-бит, чтобы звучало.
but I need a good shuffle techno beat. Somebody please help me with it, right? And people are loving it, and Ukraine TikTok commented on it, right? Official Ukraine TikTok fucking commented on it, being like, "Oh, this is great." It isn't. There are people offering to this dude to write music for him for free. He's gonna release a full fucking song. He's gonna put it on Spotify. He's gonna put it on SoundCloud. And at the end of the day, it's a Russian person who did not do shit to help Ukraine, who is making so much money off of this goddamn ringtone that does not do anything to Ukraine. Oh, thank you for your support, sir. This song is really, really helping Ukraine so much. It changed so much. What does it fucking change? Nothing. But it's gonna make him rich. Effectively, this Russian dude moved to Lithuania or wherever the hell he moved after the invasion. And he was like, "Oh, hell, I don't have a job anymore." Because he used to do voiceovers for Russian movies. He used to dub Russian movies. Now he's not in Russia. He doesn't speak English well because you can hear his accent, so he can't dub English things, right? Simply unless it needs to be dubbed with somebody who has a Russian accent specifically, right? So he doesn't have that much work. He wrote this song. This song went viral, and now he's gonna make a shitload of money on a song about Ukraine. And what did that do to Ukraine? Nothing. Nothing. Zilch. And this is why I'm saying, literally, if you see a Russian on TikTok, on YouTube, anywhere, talking about anything in English, block them. Block them. Because at the end of the day, they're gonna monetize somehow. Through Creator Fund, through whatever, they're going to get money. They're going to get paid money for talking about Ukraine. And that's called capitalizing on war. And at the end of the day, their support means nothing because it changes nothing for me. It changes nothing for my dad. It changes nothing for my mom. It changes nothing for Vasil. It changes nothing for every family in Ukraine. It changes nothing for people who died. It changes nothing for people who are dying. And that's why I'm always saying, Russian creator, block. Good person, bad person, whatever it is, literally, at the end of the day, they're sitting there and they're doing nothing to change this or stop this. And all they're asking for is your compassion for them being a good Russian person in Russia who can't do anything. Well, that's why we have this war, because good Russian people in Russia are scared to act. Well, good Ukrainian people in Ukraine are literally dying at the hands of Russians and Russian government. And they're not scared. They're literally putting their bodies down under the tanks. And Russian people are so scared because, Russian government throws them in jail. Well, Russian government throws missiles onto Ukrainian people. And Ukrainian little girls are singing Ukrainian anthem while their shrapnel wounded legs are being treated. That's kids in Ukraine. At the end of the day, people in Russia are safe. Saying that they're not safe is not true. They're safe. They're comfortable. They're safe as long as they don't say anything about Ukraine. And they prefer to be safe and not do anything to help us instead of putting themselves through uncomfortable situations, right? Because it's easier to watch Ukrainians die then put your ass on the line. I mean, here's the thing, like, I know a couple of, like, I've seen a couple of Russian creators on this app, and at the end of the day, it's like, to me, every single one of them, whether they want to, whether they intend to, or they don't, they're capitalizing on the situation by followers, by this, by that, because, like, those followers came to them because of the invasion of Ukraine, right? Like, that's what happened. They gained all of the followers because of the invasion of Ukraine. But they're Russian. Why are people going to Russian people to ask them about the invasion or to get news about the Russia-Ukraine situation? It's like we don't watch RIA Novosti, right? We don't watch Russian propaganda, right? We don't watch Russian news channels because we don't care what they think. Because at the end of the day, there are enough Ukrainian creators to spread awareness about the situation. Why would Russia, it's like, I can read the news about Ukraine, right? What's the point of having the Russian person? Like, I can do it. Any other Ukrainian person can do it. Why does a Russian person need to do it? Why do we need to listen to a Russian person doing it? Also counting in that because of all of the propaganda that they've been exposed to, they might have a skewed opinion, right? So we're running with that possibility. We're running with the possibility of them being biased to certain information and saying things like, oh, okay, I'm against the war, and yes, Russia is bad and Russia is bombing Ukraine, but like, God, really, Borscht? Come on, this is like petty. No, it's not petty. It's a big deal because you stole our fucking food. Like, you've gone so low that you didn't only steal our history or our culture or our traditions, you stole our freaking food. Like, God, yes, UNESCO, thank you for protecting borscht as a Ukrainian dish. F you, Russia. God. And now any single Russian person who's like, no, borscht is Russian, I can tell them, well, you can go to the UNESCO website and you can look it up. It is literally internationally accredited as a Ukrainian freaking soup. Bye. Puffs of smoke noticed near the Crimea Bridge. Local residents published photos showing smoke near the coast, where the exit from the bridge and in the Tuzla region. On the occupied peninsula, they have already stated that this is how exercises are being held to protect the bridge. Senior. Advice to the occupiers about the Crimean Bridge. Make a goodwill gesture before it's too late. Yes, I agree. Military exercises extended in Belarus until July 9th. Oh my gosh. That's so funny. Gesture of goodwill. So, okay, here's a meme. This on the top says gesture of goodwill. This says tester, full version. So this is Snake Island and this is Crimean Peninsula. Tester, full version. Gesture of goodwill. When Russians fled and said it was a gesture of goodwill. Erdogan is going to speak on the phone with Putin and Zolensky again to solve the problem of grain export by the Black Sea. Imagine Dragons frontman Dan Reynolds spoke about Ukraine and the war. Why are children dying in 2022? And why can't we stop the war? Why can't we do more than sing supportive songs? I feel helpless, the singer said, and sang the song Alphaville Forever Young for all Ukrainians who lost their homes.
To the beautiful people of Ukraine, is it 2022? Why is there still war? Why are there children dying? Why can we not do something more than sing a song? I feel helpless. I feel hopeless. But here we are. Tonight, I know that there are so many who have lost their homes who are here tonight. I have read your letters. I have read your words. I know that you are here. This song is for you. May your families be safe. May this war end. May there be peace. May our children live to see another day. May they have a bright future. This song is for Ukraine.
In the eastern part of Ukraine. Lysychansk.
It stands for a while. Heaven can wait, we're only watching.
The number of victims of a... Cinny? Baby. Hey, get out of there. Get out of there. I know there were crumbs flying down from the cook. Cinny. Hey, child. Move your butt out. Cinny, I will move you. Come on. Go back. Thank you. No, stop. Sit. Cinny, sit. Good girl. Yes, she's a vacuum. I can literally rent out Cinny as a vacuum and I would probably make a lot of money on it. The number of victims of a missile attack on Serhiyivka in the Odessa region has grown to 21 people. Ukraine needs to strengthen the fight against corruption, reduce the influence of the oligarchs, adopt a law on the media, the head of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen. All of these steps are essential on Ukraine's path to EU membership, she added, and should be done as soon as possible. She also noted that the EU will support Ukraine for as long as necessary. Oh my God. Volodymyr Zelensky met with an ex-NATO Secretary General Anders Fogh Rasmussen. Work on international security guarantees for Ukraine is 3. To such a great NATO Secretary General Anders Fogh Rasmussen for the uninterrupted fate of the great process, which is necessary for our country. Over the course of the year, together with Andriy Yermak, develop a platform as you can fundamentally develop specific security guarantees for Ukraine. It is important to bring together hard experts as if to make a practical statement. Thank you. Cinny is a very cute thing. The recreation center in Serhiyivka, on which Russia launched a missile strike, belongs to Moldova. The institution, which was owned by the Ministry of Health of Moldova, provided medical rehabilitation to children with health problems. Volodymyr Zelensky met with Norwegian Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Støre. I continue meetings with our partners. I welcome Norwegian Prime Minister to Kyiv. The support of your country is important and valuable for us, as well as the fact that you are close to Ukrainians today. The European Commission proposed to allocate the first tranche of emergency macrofinancial assistance to Ukraine in the amount of 1 billion euros, said the head of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen. Photos of the notebook of the commander of the 1st Separate Battalion of the Russian Federation appeared on the network. It describes what the cadets will do at the forefront. First and second year cadets will guard air defense crews, warehouses, and locations. But the cadets of the 3rd and 4th and 5th years are simply recorded as meat, Russian expression for cannon fodder. In general, he is right. Okay, so they're literally recorded in the notebook as meat. The 7th package of EU sanctions will include adjustments to the rules for the transit of Russian goods through Lithuania to Kaliningrad. Mass protests begin in Uzbekistan. In Nukus, the capital of autonomous Karakalpakstan, thousands of people took to the streets to protest against a draft constitutional change in Uzbekistan. In particular, the document liquidates the autonomy of the largest region of Karakalpakstan. If it is accepted, then Karakalpakstan will not be able to secede from Uzbekistan. President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky and Prime Minister of Norway Jonas Gahr Støre made a statement after a meeting in Kyiv. In a difficult time of struggle for freedom, real friends such as Norway, discussed with Jonas Gara the stereo pressure on the aggressor, further defensive support, the issue of the restoration of our state after the war was touched upon. It is important for us that the Prime Minister visited the areas affected by the Russian occupation in Chernihiv region and saw with his own eyes the consequences of the crimes. Thank you for your visit and powerful assistance to our country. We will never forget this. I came to declare the support of the people of Ukraine. Norway transferred 1 billion euros to the end of this year or at the beginning of 2023 for the need of people. Amnesty International recognizes the bombing of the drama theater in Mariupol as a Russian war crime. The International Human Rights Organization collected testimonies from 52 survivors and eyewitnesses, 28 of whom were in or near the theater at the time of the attack, and analyzed other materials. Amnesty investigators concluded that the theater was hit by the Russian military, most likely by dropping two 500-kilogram bombs that detonated simultaneously from a fighter aircraft. And they did it knowing that hundreds of civilians were hiding in the theater. Ukrainian military wounded more than 90,000 invaders, killed more than 30,000, Defense Minister Reznikov. There are a lot of missing people. The Russian leadership portrays many invaders as lost, so as not to pay monetary compensation to their families, said Alexei Reznikov. The Minister of Defense also stressed that it is already too late to save face for Putin, which some partners are still hinting at. A ship with grains stolen in occupied Berdiansk has entered the Turkish port, said Ukrainian ambassador to Turkey, Vasil Bondar. In the Berdiansk port, the invaders raised their landing ship Saratov from the bottom, local media reports. Recall the ship was destroyed by the Ukrainian military on March 29 from tactical missile systems. Russian aircraft launched 2 airstrikes with phosphorus bombs on Zmyiny Island, where they already completed the tasks, said Zaluzhny, commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Ukraine. Everyone who talks about agreements with Russia should know these facts. The only thing in which the enemy is consistent is unchanging accuracy, he wrote. How much did the goodwill gesture of the Russian army cost? Forbes infographic. The losses in equipment that they have suffered on Zmyiny Island since the beginning of the war amount to almost 1 billion. And this is without taking into account the losses of personnel. U.S. allocates new $820 million military aid package to Ukraine, according to Pentagon. Rescuers have already removed the debris from 90% of the territory of the Amster shopping mall in Kremenchuk. In total, 19 people were killed and 64 people were injured as a result of missile attack, of which 26 were hospitalized. Since the start of work, 29 fragments of bodies have been found. The search continues. In the Black Sea, the Bulgarian Navy destroyed a floating mine. On June 30th, a mine was destroyed in the Black Sea, which was drifting 50 kilometers from the coast near the city of Varna. This was reported in the press service of the Bulgarian Naval Forces. A dangerous object at about 15:10 was seen by the crew of the motor ship Monterey. It flies the flag of Liberia. The base minesweeper Priboy entered the place and the helicopter Panther of the Bulgarian Navy took off. According to the military, it was Yum-type anchor mine. At 2050, divers blew it up. A lot of women defenders of Mariupol remain in captivity. This was announced in a video message by the interim commander of the Azov Regiment, Mayor Nikita Natoshny, commenting on the recent large-scale exchange of prisoners. Out of this entire list, only one female soldier was submitted for exchange. At the moment, there are a lot of women doctors who performed combat missions on the territory of the Mariupol garrison, he said. #SaveAzovstal. Literally, Russian aviation has just missed and bombarded its own positions in the Kherson region, said Alexei Arestovich, advisor to the head of presidential administration. The Russian army finally hit the Nazis on the territory of Ukraine. And this is the only thing that I'm willing to take from Alexei Arestovich. The invaders in the DPR brought charges against 2 more British prisoners, this time to the volunteer and the military. 22-year-old Dylan Healy provided humanitarian aid in southern Ukraine, and 35-year-old Andrew Hill, a member of the Foreign Legion, are charged with the same articles as 3 previously convicted Britons who faced the death penalty. We're talking in particular about the alleged mercenary activities. Also, it's not 3 Bretons, it's 2 Bretons and a Moroccan. And it's very important to talk about Brahim Sadoun because nobody is. And Morocco could not give 2 shits about him. And nobody in Morocco is advocating for him. And it's really awful. During the day, the Russian army fired more than 270 mines, missiles, and shells of various calibers in the territory of Sumy region. Head of the army, Dmytro Zhevitsky. Under enemy fire were Bilopolya, Novosloboda, Shalyhin, Esman, Velikopasarevka, Gluchiv, and Krasnopilya communities. A 64-year-old woman was injured. She was just working in the garden when the shelling began. She was wounded by a fragment of a Russian shell. Ukraine asked Turkey to detain the ship with grain that sailed under the Russian flag from the port of Berdyansk. According to Reuters, it is the ship Zhebek Zhole, on which 4,500 tons of grain belonging to Ukraine were taken from Berdyansk. Привіт, Nazar! Привіт. In a letter from the Office of the Prosecutor General of Ukraine to the Ministry of Justice of Turkey, which was at the disposal of the agency, it is said that the vessel is involved in the illegal export of Ukrainian grain to the Turkish city of Karasu. Also, guys, my cousin is in here, and I recently found out that he has a TikTok, and he does these really cool videos about luxury cars and like cool perks that they have, and just like cool fun videos with like just kind of like, I don't know, just check them out. So Nazar is here, and he's my cousin. He is my dad's brother's son. So he's my dad's nephew, yes. And actually, according to a lot of people, Nazar and my dad have literally the same personality. I don't know how much that is true, provided that it's not for me to judge. but he is very similar to my dad. He is one of the 2 fraternal twins, and his twin brother looks like my dad, but resembles their dad in personality. And Nazar looks like his dad, but resembles my dad in personality, apparently. So yeah, this is Nazar. He's right there. He's the Ukrainian person commenting the last 2 comments, and he has a bunch of just like fun videos. He works at like a luxury car dealership, and they have very like rare cars and stuff like that. And so he does just like funny videos, but they're very clever. So yeah, so check them out. If you like them, you like them. If you don't, you don't. But yes. Libyan protesters storm parliament. Rallies are held in cities against power supply cuts, deteriorating living conditions, and political usurpation of power. According to local media, the protests are demanding a change of power and new elections in the country. So this is a little bit of world news. And the last update I have is evening address of Volodymyr Zelensky. 3 cruise missiles hit Serhiivka. Missiles also hit Zatoka. 12 missiles hit Mykolaiv at once. Various objects in the city. It's only one night and morning. My condolences to all relatives, loved ones of all whose lives were taken by such strikes. I am especially grateful to the United States of America and personally to Biden for the new support package for Ukraine announced today, which includes very powerful NASAMS systems, an anti-aircraft missile complex that will significantly strengthen our air defense. We have worked hard for this supply, and I'll show you the video in a second, but also I was going to say, if anyone of you is from Denmark, Nazar lived in Denmark for a while, and I'm pretty sure he can speak a little bit of Danish. Like, I might be wrong. But he did live in Denmark for a little bit during his younger years, and he worked there. So, Назар, ти розмовляєш трошки ти в Данії, ти ж колись в Данії працював, правда? Ти розмовляєш трошки на мові чи ні? So yes, if anybody is from Denmark, just FYI. He lived there for 2 years. And I think he speaks a little bit of Danish. So yeah, so if anyone is from Denmark, feel free to say hello. Бо мене були з Данії люди, але я не знаю, чи зараз хтось є. So yes, I'm going to put you to see Zelensky's speech, but I need to figure out how to do that because we have an issue with. Oh, you married your husband in Denmark. That's cool.
Great.
1 second. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I will do this. You guys are gonna have to swipe out the. You guys are gonna have to swipe out the. What's its face? The comments, because there is no way that I can make it any other way than what it is. So it's gonna have to be this way. I'm sorry. Oh, there.
Українки. В Одеській області продовжується розбір завалів після російського ракетного удару по Сергіївці. 3 ракети по звичайному житловому будинку. По 9-поверхівці, в якій ніхто не ховав ніяку зброю, ніяку військову техніку, ніякі боєприпаси. Як завжди розповідають про такі удари російські пропагандисти і посадовці. Це був простий будинок, 160 людей близько. І у ньому проживали звичайні люди, цивільні. Зруйнована цим ударом також і база відпочинку, абсолютно типовий для приморської території. Я наголошую, це свідомий, цілеспрямований російський терор, а не якісь там помилки чи випадкове влучання ракет. Вбиті 4 людини з однієї родини. Убитий хлопець 12 років звали Дмитро. А цей час всього у списку загиблих 21 людина, близько 40 поранені. Цифри змінювалися і змінюються. Увесь день, на жаль, кількість загиблих зростає. Одночасно з ракетами по Сергіївці були запущені ракети по Затоці. Одразу 12 ракет вдарили по Миколаєву, по різних об'єктах у місті. Лише за одну ніч і ранок мої співчуття всім рідним, всім близьким, чиї життя були забрані такими ударами. Я особливо вдячний сьогодні Сполученим Штатам Америки, особисто Байдену, за оголошений саме сьогодні новий пакет підтримки для України, який включає дуже потужні системи НАСАМС, зенітний ракетний комплекс, який суттєво посилить нашу протиповітряну оборону. Ми багато працювали заради такого постачання. Загалом цей пакет важить 820 мільйонів доларів, і окрім НАСАМС містить також боєприпаси для артилерії та радарів. Не менш активно домовляємось і про іншу нову зброю від партнерів для Донбасу, для Харківської області, для півдня України. Це потрібно. Робимо все, щоб зламати перевагу окупантів. Сьогодні з візитом у Київ був прем'єр-міністр Норвегії, говорили з ним подальшу оборонну підтримку України, посилення санкцій проти Росії. Норвегія вже надала нам вагому підтримку, але буде ще додатковий пакет обсягом 1 мільярд євро. Дуже дякуємо. Не забудемо. Сформували спеціальну групу з питань міжнародних безпекових гарантій для України. Групу очолить Андерсон Расмусен, екс-генсек НАТО. Він сьогодні прибув в Київ, керівник мого офісу Андрій Єрмак. Також буде з ним працювати. До складу групи увійшли впливові діячі з різних демократичних країн світу: Австралії, США, Швеції, Великої Британії, Німеччини, Польщі, Франції, Італії і, звичайно, України. Головне завдання групи – розробити формат безпекових гарантій для нашої держави, які працюватимуть довгостроково і реально, щоб не було жодних майбутніх агресій. Збільшуємо зовнішньополітичні зв'язки України з Латинською Америкою. Провів переговори з лідерами Аргентини і Чилі. Інтереси України будуть представлені всюди у світі. Попри війну, попри всі загрози, ми не припиняємо наш рух до Євросоюзу. Сьогодні в Верховній Раді я підписав разом зі спікером
Guys on YouTube,
та нашим прем'єр-міністром
I'm going to turn off YouTube stream
європейської інтеграції.
after this
Зафіксували цим документом, що
because my camera is about
від
dead.
статусу кандидата до повноправного членства. Я вдячний пані
For some reason, it didn't charge from the computer, which is weird.
фон дер Ляйн, яка сьогодні у своєму зверненні до Верховної Ради
Назар, де зараз фронт в Україні?
Не будемо втрачати час.
Які
Я
міста?
вірю, що Україна зможе
Якщо ти ще тут.
енергійно здобути членство, як ми здобули кандидатство. Я вдячний усім, хто допомагає сьогодні нашій державі. Вдячний усім, хто захищає нашу державу. Слава Україні!
So this is the last update that I have for today. And I'm going to have to turn off YouTube now because my camera was plugged into the computer all day, but for some reason it didn't charge. I think it's maybe because this computer is older, and when it's not like on, it might not be charging. So I am going to turn off YouTube, guys. Thank you so much for being on YouTube, and thank you so much for following. And you can hop over to TikTok if you'd like, or not if you wouldn't like, but I will hang out on TikTok for a little bit and do Q&A if there are any, and just chat. So, alrighty. Good night, YouTube. I'm going to turn this off. And I'll see you on TikTok if you'd like. Bye, Candy. Okay. Bye, YouTube.